Do you get the 4 a.m. freakouts? Oh my God, there's not enough money. That client's going to fire me. Oh my gosh, am I healthy? Am I sick? Is the world going to blow up? Let's talk about how to get your brain under control so that you can get good sleep and build your business. Hit subscribe for weekly videos to grow your consulting business and click the bell for notification of future episodes. There's this marketing phrase, which is, you're not alone. You read that on a sales page. Well, if this is you, then you're not alone. Of all of the things that we can talk about with self-employment, getting the 4 a.m. freakouts is a thing that you are not alone in. Being woken up at 4 a.m. or whatever your equivalent of that is so disruptive to our daily lives that it points to an issue that really wants to get our attention. It's waking us up, or it's seeping into your meditation. Another time that these scary, intrusive thoughts will come in is like, okay, I'm meditating and I'm like oming out here. And then like part of my brain is like, oh, hey, cool. While I have you, I just need to panic you about these like 5 things. And I'm like, I'm trying to peace out here. And then my brain is like, no, I'm really worried about these things. So 4 a.m. freakouts bring issues up, which are for the most part out of our control, but things that we just should be worried about. It's really unhelpful, but it's a thing that is so common with consultants that I want to just talk about it. In the early years of my business, when I was successful enough to be like, yes, I'm committing to this, but not successful enough to not have revenue roller coaster, which is something I work with almost all my clients on. That's scary, right? The inconsistency is scary. So of course, I would have these scary 4 a.m. freakouts about money, and they would disrupt my sleep so much that it would disrupt my waking life. And then I would be just worried all the time because I'd be on edge from poor sleep and from inability to rest. So I would have these periodic meltdowns with my husband where I would just say, we're not going to pay the bills. There's not enough money. And like the roof is going to fall in. That was like our metaphor for this time period. And I would have them so often, just periodically over the course of years, until one day he finally had to say to me, you keep saying the roof is going to fall in. And yet I can't help but notice that it's been literally years and the roof hasn't fallen in yet. And that, for some reason, broke the spell for me. It broke the spell, and I realized there isn't a rationale for these arguments. That's not my logical brain saying things. I mean, sure, your logical mind can come in, during the daytime when you're looking at your books and be like, that's a lot of bills, and this isn't quite enough revenue, and so we need to do something about this. And when you're strong and it's daytime and you're like logical, you can be like, I'm pretty concerned about that. You can even say, I'm very concerned about this, and you can take action on it. But what we can't do at 4 a.m. is anything helpful, anything useful. And so our illogical, impractical, reptilian brain wants to besiege us at 4 a.m. with things we can't do anything about at that time, and sometimes things we can't do anything about in general. So what are the things that people freak out about? Well, as you heard, I'd have the money freakouts back then. And then when my hot flashes started, I'm usually an excellent sleeper, but that disrupted my sleep. What I would notice is it would wake me up at that kind of like, who knows what time o'clock, and that little fear brain would kick in again. And it would do what I call the car alarm thing. Wait, 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 wait. Blah, 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 blah. It's like 5 different sounds that it would rotate. Well, the car alarm for the 4 a.m. freakouts sounds like, is there enough money? Oh my God, I don't think there's enough money. Okay, there's enough money. All right. Am I sick? Is he sick? Are the kids sick? Who's sick? Somebody's sick. Okay, we're all well? Okay, we're all well. And then, oh my God, like, is the world going to blow up? Are we at war? What's happening? Oh my God, pandemic. Like, what's happening? So it would just rotate those scary themes. Freakouts about money, client freakouts. Am I going to get fired by that client? The client is driving me crazy. She's triggered me in all the possible ways I can be triggered. They're going to find out I'm a fraud. It can be team members because people issues are highly emotional, and we respond to highly emotional things when we are in that peaceful state, in the liminal space of the 4 a.m. People issues that we can't solve will irritate us. They'll be the overwhelm of how overworked I am. Why can't I get anything off of my plate? Why can't I get things done with this? The imposter syndrome of I'm going to be found out as a fraud. I'm going to get outed as like somebody who doesn't know anything about what I'm doing. And then, as I mentioned, the personal issues. Is it personal health? Is it my relationship? My mom is sick, those kinds of things. And then finally, that global stuff, like I mentioned, like war or the pandemic. During COVID, for more than a year, I would wake up several times a week in the middle of the night suffocating. Like the feeling of suffocating, I would wake myself up. We'll take on all of these things as women, as empaths, as sensitive people, as human beings living here on planet Earth. Will take on the things we can't do anything about. And those things will be operating on our subconscious. The 4 a.m. freakouts happen because we don't have the tools, we don't have the strength, the willpower, the discipline, the structure of our rational, logical mind to say, hey, not right now. Hey, that's actually not true. Hey, nothing's going on. And I want you to know that this universe of things that can come up, these are what I hear from my clients. Every single one of these is not just me. It's things that I have heard my clients voice and say, I don't know what to do with this. So here's what to do with this. The first thing that we need to know is it's not just a 4 a.m. thing. It's going to happen whenever you are susceptible to that irrational, fear-based voice. So it can be during your meditations. It can be when you're napping. It can be when you're out on a walk and trying to have some peaceful time, or on a drive home from work when you're really tired and you're really feeling spent. Those scary voices can come in while you're sitting in traffic getting more and more irritated. So the bad news is this syndrome will not be cured by being more successful in your business. Having stable revenues makes a lot of things better, believe me. Being more successful and feeling more in control of your professional life will make things seem better, but it's not going to cure the situation, because this is an issue of boundaries and of self-management, and not an issue of success. And that's odd, because it feels like I won't have the 4 a.m. freakouts anymore once I'm super successful. I won't have the 4 a.m. freakouts once I have a lot more money coming in, because more money means I won't feel anxious anymore. That's not true. It's just not true. So here's what you need to do to manage your 4 a.m. freakouts. We have to have brain boundaries. We have to set up mental boundaries. And if you don't have them, it seems impossible that this is the thing that you can do. But just as you can tell someone, don't touch that, don't touch me, pay me on time, I'm sorry, no calls after 5 p.m. Those same boundaries that you can set outside yourself, you can set inside yourself with your mind. That voice in your head can be contained. I know, it's crazy. The first time I did it, I was amazed, but I was beside myself with the 4 a.m. freakouts. And I would be besieged at nighttime when I was sleeping, and also when I was napping. And I was napping because I slept so poorly that I needed to nap during the day. And I would be napping and I would be like, I'm trying to sleep. So eventually I just said, here's a rule. No thinking about money when I'm horizontal. Daytime, nighttime, resting, watching TV with the dogs, doesn't matter. When I'm horizontal, there's no thinking about money. And I just made it go away. I just set that boundary. So you can decide if you're worried about a client thing and it's noon on Saturday and you want to be out with the kids having a good time and that voice is in your head, you can say, not till Monday. I'm not going to think about this until Monday at 8 a.m. And then just work on it. You can control this. You're going to control when that voice comes in. So the first thing I want you to know is you can have boundaries with that scary voice in your head, and you can shut it down, contain it, and you can contain it to where, first of all, it only comes in at certain times, and then you can contain it to where, no, only between these hours, and then you can contain it to where it is so small that you almost can't hear it at all. That is what's possible for you. Here's the second thing that you're going to do. You're going to build habits that make it so that during your daytimes, you're doing things that you'll be able to use as arguments against that scary voice. So first of all, you're going to build your business. You're going to have good money habits. You're going to, and then these are the things that are crucial: exercise, meditate, journal. You're going to practice good health discipline so that those voices have less opportunity to come in there. Now, as I mentioned, when I would have hot flashes, there wasn't much I could do about that, but I could watch what I ate so that my hot flashes were not as exacerbated. I could exercise a lot. I could really take care of myself so that when I was sleeping and the voice was like, oh my God, there's not enough money, I could say, hey, we did a lot of marketing today and I'm really excited about where that's going to go. So The next thing I'm going to talk about is arguments. I can have an argument with that voice, and that's an example of it. So saying, actually, I'm giving you an argument, which is a rebuttal to what you're doing. You might think it's 4 a.m. and I don't have my best arguments with me. This is what we're planning during the daytime hours. I'm planning. If that voice comes up again, I have something that I'm going to say. In general, my favorite thing to do when I hear the voice in my head is to say, first of all, it's nighttime, I'm sleeping. Let's talk about this in the morning. So that's the first thing I can say. And if you notice that voice in the beginning, it will not go away immediately. And so what I'll do is a gratitude shout down. A gratitude shout down is, la, 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 I'm grateful for my life. La, 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 I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful I have love. I'm grateful for my pets. I'm grateful for my own health. I'm grateful for my exciting business and my ideas. I just do a litany of those things. It's a gratitude shout down. I learned it from Abraham. And I'll just do it in my mind until that voice is quiet or until I fall asleep. And usually it's so hard for me to be doing that arguing in the middle of the night that I eventually just fall back to sleep. But hearing that voice in my head is not allowed. So anytime it goes, but, I'm like, oh, I just shut it down. Okay. What can we use to shut that voice down? You can use affirmations. I'm safe. I'm taken care of. I'm divinely guided. I'm in flow with the greater harmony of abundance from the universe. Those affirmations that you're practicing on an ongoing basis, I hope. If not, see my affirmations episode. I just love to have those at the ready so that at any moment I can just be reciting those. If you're preparing during the daytime for these arguments, then you can bring them out when you're at a time of weakness. Like the scary brain voices are attacking you when you're weak. So you can trot these out. I'll bring out my arguments. I'll bring out my affirmations when I need to address that voice. So be prepared with them. One of my favorite ones is you don't know. What's hard for a lot of us, if we're experts and if we're people who do think we know everything, is that when a scary voice comes up, part of us feels like that's me saying, you don't have enough money. There's not going to be enough money. Everything's going to go wrong. That client's going to fire you. You're going to get found out. That voice feels like it's coming from our expert place. And what was really helpful for me was to say, you don't know. I mean, it's the future. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. Is there enough money? I think there's plenty of money right now. Is there going to be enough money tomorrow or in the future? Can we pay the bills this month? I think so. I don't think there's enough money. You don't know. Can you be 100% sure? You don't know. And that you don't know really helped me to debunk all of the things that seemed factual that my scary voice was saying. Next thing I want you to do is do a mental health check. Health check and a mental health check. If you have an anxiety condition that needs to be diagnosed and dealt with, then take care of that. There are plenty of things in the world today which are causing us to be more ADHD. Lots more people are being diagnosed with these conditions, anxiety disorders. So having an undiagnosed disorder can make you much more susceptible to 4 a.m. freakouts. And there are things that you can do to take care of that. So whether you choose a pharmaceutical path or whether you choose a holistic or alternative path, like whatever that is, it can be really helpful to know like, oh, I have a legit mental health issue that needs to be checked out. I'm not just having 4 a.m. freakout. There's information in what exactly the freakout voice is saying. And sometimes it can be like an intuitive message that your body or yourself is wanting you to know. And if you have it on repeat and you notice it keeps wanting to come through, then maybe it's worth checking it out. So always make sure that you're doing the mental health and health care that you need to do for yourself. It really helps to have a support system. So part of the reason that I've shared so extensively today is I want you to know the universe of scariness that is coming up for people, that came up for me, that rarely comes up for me anymore. It's such a rare occasion that I'm woken up at all. And when I wake up at all and I have that, I'll go like, look how interesting. What is coming through? Okay, interesting. So I'm concerned about that. Oh, wow. I get to be curious about those scary thoughts that come through. And that's because I've just spent so much time dealing with them. But my clients get to bring those to me because this is a new phenomenon for them, or it's a worse phenomenon because before they felt they had a measure of stability. And now that they're self-employed, it feels like everything is on them and the pressure is dialed up, and that pressure, overwhelm, overwork, exhaustion will send those voices, like make them crazy, like really aggravate them and dial them up. So I want you to look for a support system in your own life of people that you can talk to about this. Sometimes you cannot talk to a spouse or partner about it because it freaks them out, and that's not a good dynamic. Like, we can't all be freaked out about money. We can't all be freaked out that I'm going to get fired by my client and then everything's going to be back on you. So if the spouse is not a good option for you, people in your family, people in your friend group that you can talk to about this, because you're the only one who's self-employed. And when you bring up that you're afraid to be self-employed, they're like, I knew it was too risky for you to be self-employed. Don't do that. Come on, be safe. Like, people want to take our pain away from us. So seek out maybe a mastermind group where there's other entrepreneurs or helpful colleagues that you can talk to. And of course, lastly, if you'd like to talk with me about how I can support you with this in community with other consultants, other people who are experiencing exactly the things that you might be going through, then I welcome you to reach out to me through any of the socials or at samanthahartley.com/super. Being self-employed is your way to change the world and make an impact, and you are probably delivering your creative gifts, your joy and genius through your business. And it's so important to me that you're able to thrive, to feel joyful in the process of that. And a lot of it can be terrifying and unstable and risky and feel scary. And I don't want that for you. I want you to know that you are supported, that you're on a path that's divinely guided, and that there is support for you out there in the universe and also with people like us who can help you. So with that, I encourage you to share with me and with other colleagues if you're experiencing this, because together we know that we're more powerful and we're supposed to be here and doing this. And with that, I'm wishing you a profitable and joyful consulting business. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications. And here are a couple of related episodes that will help you to build an even more profitable, joyful consulting business.